Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video, you are going to learn how to work with strings. I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know from the beginning, and I will also show you some of the most common errors that beginners make when working with strings. So let's go straight to the point, and the first thing that I want to explain is what is string. String in C# and in many other programming languages is a data type that is used in order to store a sequence of characters. So basically, it is used to store text. Now, the best way for you to understand this is to see it on an example. So let me show you an example. Let's create a string variable. So you say string, and then you give the name to your variable. So let's say, for example, letter, like this, and then inside these quotation marks, you are going to put the value for this string here. So for example, here I will assign just one character. So let's say letter A. So this string variable contains just one character. Now you can also assign more than one character. So let's create another string variable. Let's say, for example, word. And here I will assign more than one character. So let's say, for example, this word here, programming. Okay, so this string variable contains more than one character. And then you can also assign an entire sentence. So let's create another string variable. I will call it sentence, like this. And then let's copy, for example, this sentence here. So learn practical programming and start your career. And then this here is my website in case that you want to learn practical programming. So all of these three are examples of string variables. And as I already said, string is used in order to store a sequence of characters. That can be one character, or it can be an entire sentence, or even a longer text. So now your question is probably, how many characters can I put inside a single string variable? Well, what do you think? Let me know in the comments section. So the answer is you can put a lot of characters. Technically, that depends on how much memory your computer has. So in most modern computers, that is probably billions of characters. And just to get an idea of how much that really is, the entire Harry Potter series, so all of the books, contain between 6 and 7 million characters, depending on the translation and the language. So you can put really a lot of characters inside a single string variable, but you should avoid to work with really big strings because that can slow down your computer and it can cause some performance issues. So a better question is, why would you want to store so many characters inside a single string variable? So now that we have created these string variables, let's, for example, print them to the console. So I will say console.writeLine, and then here I will put the variable that I want to print to the console. So if I say, for example, letter, and I start the program, we should get in the console only this letter A. Okay, and then if I print, for example, this word variable, we should get the word programming. Okay, and then if I print this entire sentence and I start the program, we get this entire sentence printed in the console. Now, as I said, string variables are used in order to store a sequence of characters. But characters are not just letters. Inside a string variable, we can also store some special characters. For example, this character here or this character here, those are not letters, those are special characters. So I can also create, for example, a string called special characters, like this. And inside this string, we can store something like hashtag, $, percentage, and so on. So inside a string variable, we can also put special characters, but not all special characters. Later in this video, I'm going to show you some special characters that you cannot store inside strings, or at least not as easily as these that I have here. So those are some exceptional situations and some errors and mistakes that a lot of developers make, and I will explain that later in the video, so make sure to watch the entire video in order to learn everything that you need to know about strings. So now if I print this string to the console, we should get these special characters, like you can see here. Now, Also, inside a string, you can store numbers. So here I can create a variable. Let's call it age. And inside it, I will put, for example, 29, because that is my age. And if I print this variable here, we should get 29 in the console. So inside a string variable, you can store a single letter, you can store a word, you can store an entire sentence. So you can store letters, or you can store special characters like I have here, or you can even store numbers. There are some important things that you should know if you are doing this. So if you are storing numbers inside a string, but I'm going to explain that in a few minutes. And first, I want to show you another interesting thing that you can do, and that is you put your string and then you say dot length, and that is going to give you the length of the string. So how many characters that string contains. So if I say age.length and I start the program, as you can see, we get 2 because this string here contains only 2 characters, number 2 and number 9. And then if I say, for example, this word, so word.length, and I start the program, we get 11 because that is how many characters this word here has. So let's check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, indeed. And then if I say, for example, sentence.length, okay, we get 76, and I'm not going to check this one manually. So basically what this length does is it gives you the number of characters that this string here contains. And something else that we can have is an empty string. So I can say string, let's name it empty string, like this, and then I simply put these quotation marks, but inside I'm not going to put anything. So this here is an empty string, and if I say empty string dot length and I start the program, we should get 0. And as you can see, this string contains 0 characters. Now let's talk about string concatenation. So what is string concatenation? It is just a fancy word that programmers use that means to combine 2 strings together. So let's delete this code that I have here, and I'm going to show you how that works on an example. So let's create a string variable. Let's call it name. And here I will put, for example, John, like this. And then I will say console.writeLine, and here I will say hello, and then I will add plus symbol, and I will add this name variable. So now if I run the program, what do you expect to get? Let me know in the comment section. Let's start the program, let's see, and we get hello John. So these 2 strings have been concatenated, which means they have been combined together. So we see this output in our console. Okay, so this part here is called string literal, which means that it is a string that is not stored inside any variable. It is hard-coded here, and whatever we put here inside these quotation marks, that is what we are going to get in the console. And then this here is a string variable, which means that whatever name we put inside these quotation marks, for example, Saldina, we will get that name printed in our console. So now if I run the program, as you can see, now we get hello Saldina. Okay, so that also means that we can let our user to enter his name. So I will delete the value for my string variable, and I will say something like this: console.readLine. So please read whatever the user writes in the console and store that inside this name variable. So now if I run the program, let's see what we are going to get. So we have this prompt where we can enter text. For example, I will say CodeBeauty. Okay, and if I press enter, it is going to respond with hello CodeBeauty. Okay, so once more, this is a string literal, which means that this hard-coded text will be printed. And then here we are adding more text that we want to print to the console. And that is going to be whatever value is stored inside this variable here. So whatever our user enters, that will be concatenated to this hello word, and that will be printed in the console. Okay, now something interesting and important that I promised to explain is what happens if you have numbers inside string. So let me show you an example. I will delete this, we don't need it, and this part as well. And here I will say inside a string 2 and then plus, and here let's also add 2, like this. Okay, so this is one example, and then another example is 2 plus 2, but without these double quotation marks. So now my question for you is, please pause the video and write me in the comment section what do you expect to be a result of this line here, and then what do you expect to be the result of this line here, and also explain if these two are going to be different, why do you think that they are going to be different? Or if they are going to be the same, why do you think that they are going to be the same? Please pause the video and write that in the comment section. So let's start the program. Let's see. Okay, and as you can see, this first line gives us the result of 22, and then this second line gives us the result of 4. So now the question is, why do we get 22 here and then 4 here? Well, the difference is how this plus operator behaves when it stands between two strings and when it stands between two integers or two floats, doubles, or any other numerical type. So in this case here, we have an integer and another integer, and in that case, plus is going to sum those two, so we get 4. And then in this case here, we have two strings. So what plus operator is doing is it is simply concatenating those two strings. So that is the reason why we see 22 here. So if I say, for example, 3 plus 2, 4, and then here I also say 2, 3 plus 2, 4, and I start the program, as you can see, here we get the sum, and then here we just get concatenation. So here, these two strings are just combined together. So that is the difference, how this plus operator behaves when it is working with two strings versus when it is working with two integers, so with two numerical types. And this is one very important difference and one thing that is confusing for a lot of beginners. And it is very important that you understand this behavior so that you don't make a mistake as well. Now let me show you another way to concatenate strings. So one way is with the help of this plus operator, and another way is with the help of concat function. So let's delete this code here and let's create two string variables. Let's say string first name, and here I will say Saldina, that is my name. Okay, and then let's also create another string variable. Let's call it last name, like this, and here I will say Norak, that is my last name. So another way to concatenate these two strings, as I said, is with the help of concat function. So let's say console.writeLine, and here I want to print these two strings together. So once more, the first way was with the help of plus operator. So first name plus last name, like this. And then another way is with the help of string.concat. Okay, and then here you put all of the strings that you want to concatenate. So all of the strings that you want to combine together. So in our case, those are first name, and then I will add comma, and then last name. So if I print this line, as you can see, we get Saldina Norak. And if you want to add space between these two, you can add here another string, which is just going to be an empty space. And if I start the program now, as you can see, these three strings have been concatenated, so they have been combined together, and the result of that is this output here. So far, I have demonstrated two ways to combine strings together. The first way was with the help of plus operator, and then the second way was with the help of this concat function, and both of these are okay. They are perfectly fine to use, but what most developers do is they use a third way, which is called string interpolation. And now I'm going to show you what is string interpolation. So let's delete this, we don't need it anymore. And now let me show you what is string interpolation. String interpolation is achieved with the help of this dollar symbol. So you say dollar symbol and then you open these quotation marks, and here you are going to put your text, your characters. So let's say my name is, and then something interesting is that you can use these curly brackets and inside them you can put your variables. So my name is, and then I'm using variable. And this string interpolation is very easy and common way to combine string literals, which I have here, and also variables. But just remember, it is very important that you put this dollar symbol and also that you put your variables inside these curly brackets. So if I run this program, as you can see, we get my name is Saldina, but once more, as I said, it is very important that you put your variables inside curly brackets. Otherwise, if I omit these curly brackets, this entire string is just going to be string literal. So we are going to get literally this text that we have here. So my first name is first name. Okay, so that is the first part. Don't forget these curly brackets. And then also, please don't forget this dollar symbol. So if I forget dollar symbol, again, we get this string literal. So we get literally whatever we have written inside this string. So once more, don't forget this string interpolation symbol, which is $sign. And also very important is that this $sign must stand in front of your string. So before you open quotation marks for your string, you put this $sign and everything is going to work without problems. So now we can combine here text however we want. So my name is, and then first name, and then I will add space, and I will use this last name variable like this. And I can also say, and I am, let's say 29 years old. And if I start the program, as you can see, we get my name is, and then the value of first name, the value of last name, and then, and I am 29 years old. Now, something else that is interesting is that inside these curly brackets, you can write even expressions. So here you can say, for example, I am, let's say 10 plus 19. And if I start the program, again, we get 29 because your compiler, your computer is going to calculate this expression here. And then when it gets the result, it is going to print that result. So here is an interesting example for you to exercise your brain. So if you say, for example, string interpolation, and then inside this string you say 2 plus 2 is equal to, and then here you say 2 plus 2, but inside these curly brackets, what do you expect to get? Please pause the video, write me the answer in the comment section, and then you can start the program and see the result. Okay, so if I start the program, we get 2 plus 2 is equal to, and then we get 4. And the reason for that is, once more, this part here is a string literal, which means that it will be written literally like we have it here. And then this part inside these curly brackets is an expression, which means that it will be calculated first and the result of the expression will be written in the console. So that is the reason why we get 2 plus 2 is equal to, and then the result of the calculation. So if that was your answer, then you understand this well. Congratulations. Now, let me show you something else. Let's say that we want to have some longer text. So let's delete this and let's create a string variable called my text. And inside it, I will put some longer text. Let's say, for example, hello, my name is Saldina. I teach programming at CodeBeauty Academy. Okay, so if I print this text here, this is the value that we are going to get. So now my idea is I want to have this sentence in one line, and then I want to have this sentence in the next line, and then this sentence in third line. So how can we achieve that? Well, let's see. So if I do something like this, let's see what we are going to get. So we have hello, and then I will put this inside another string literal, and I will put plus between these two, and I will put this second string literal inside another line, and then let's close this quotation mark here, and let's create another string literal, and again I will put plus sign here, and I will put this third sentence inside third line. So now if I start the program, let me know, what do you expect? Do you expect these three sentences to be in three different lines or not? And why? So let me know in the comment section, and then you can watch my solution and explanation. So let's start the program, and the result is quite disappointing. We did not achieve what we wanted because this text is still together, and the reason for that is because that is how this plus operator works. That is how concatenation works, and it does not care if you have one new line between these two, or if you have two or three, or however many you want to put there. Still, if I start the program, this text is going to be together. So in order to solve this problem, we need to find a new approach, a better approach, and that is with the help of escape characters. So now your question is, what are escape characters? And those are like special commands that we can use in different situations. For example, one command that we have is this command here, so \n, and that means please add new line here. So if I start the program, as you can see, we have hello, and then new line, and then we have this remaining text. So if I add this new line here as well, so \n, and I start the program again, as you can see, now these three sentences have been separated into different lines. So hello, and then new line, and then my name is Saldina, and then new line, and then I teach programming at CodeBeautyAcademy.com. Okay, so once more, escape characters are like special commands, and an example is this escape character here, so \n, and that is going to add a new line after this text here. And that also means that now I can even omit these plus symbols because they don't really do anything. So even if I write something like this, so I say hello, and then \n, and then I have this text here, and then again \n, and I delete this plus symbol, and I also write all of this together like this. And if I start the program, we are still going to get the same result. So hello, and then new line. My name is Saldina, again new line. I teach programming at www.codebeautyacademy.com. And if you're wondering what kind of programming you can learn in my academy, you can learn practical programming, you can work on real projects and gain real experience. And throughout that entire process, you are going to get my help and my mentorship so that you can start your career as soon as possible and start earning money as soon as possible. I'm going to leave more details in the description. I will also leave a link that you can use in order to get a special discount that we currently have in case that you decide to join CodeBeauty Academy. Now, while we are at the topic of escape characters, let me show you another escape character. So we already said that this one, \n, is used in order to add a new line. But let's use another one. Let's say la, and then I will say \t, and again la. So if I start the program, as you can see, this escape character is just going to add one tab difference between these two strings. So that is what this escape character here means. So \t is just going to add one tab space between this word here and this word here. And you probably already figured out that this / symbol has some sort of a special power. So what happens if I do something like this? If I say this is text with, and then I add \. So if I start the program, what do you expect to get? Let me know in the comment section. So let's start the program, and as you can see, immediately we get an error. And the reason for that is because indeed this / symbol has a special power, and it is not possible to use it like this. So if you want to write / to your console, you will need to add another \. So now if I run the program, as you can see, it says this is text with backslash, and here we get just one backslash because remember, this backslash is a special character that is used in order to use escape commands like adding new line or adding tab space between text. So if you want to print backslash itself, you will need to put it twice. So backslash and then backslash again. So now you know how to write text in multiple lines and how to add new lines between your sentences. So we use escape characters for that, backslash n in order to add a new line. So that is one way, and it is perfectly okay to use escape characters. But now I'm going to show you something that experienced developers prefer to use, and a better way to write multi-line text, and that is called verbatim sign. So what is verbatim sign? So verbatim is represented with this et character. So you put et in front of your string, and now what you can do is you can write multi-line text. So you can say, for example, my name is Saldina, and then I will add a new line, and here let's say I've been coding since 2013, and let's add another line. Let's say I love teaching other people to code, and let's say also I have 2 cats. Very relevant. So now if I start this program, because we have used this verbatim sign, our text should be in this exact format here. So if I start the program, as you can see, we have the first sentence here, and then the second sentence is in the new line, third also in the new line, and then fourth sentence also in the new line. And that is what this verbatim sign allows us to do. So you don't have to use any escape characters, and if you want to write multi-line text, you simply put an enter and another enter, and let's say another enter here, and when you start the program, your text is going to be formatted without any escape characters. Okay, and what is even cooler is that you can combine this verbatim sign with string interpolation. Remember what string interpolation was? It was that dollar character which we can use in order to write expressions or use variables inside our strings. So here I can say now I have 2 cats, and if I get one more, I will have, and here inside these curly brackets I can say 2 plus 1. So if I start the program, as you can see, here it says I will have 3. So now I have a question for you, and that is, why do we get 3 here? No, actually I'm kidding, that's not the question. I already explained that when we were talking about string interpolation. The question for you is, should I get another cat?
Nobody's gonna know.
They're gonna know.
How would they know?
So I believe that is enough for this video. You learned a lot about working with strings, but there is a lot more that you should also know. I will leave that for the next video, where you are going to learn about comparing strings, different methods that are important when it comes to working with strings, such as searching, replacing, splitting, and so on. So we are going to cover all of those topics in the next video, which will be linked here and also in the description. And also, if you like my teaching style and if you learn useful things from my YouTube videos, then definitely you should join my practical programming course, where I can take you from beginner to expert in programming. It is better than anything that I have here on YouTube. You will get the opportunity to work on real projects and gain real experience, collaborate with other developers, and throughout the entire process, you will have my help so that you can start your career and learn programming as soon as possible. Currently, we have a special discount which you can get using the link in the description. And if for any reason you don't like the course, we have a 7-day refund policy, so you can get all of your money back, no questions asked. So now, instead of coming up with excuses, use the discount code from the description and start learning programming, because it can truly change your entire life. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!